Okay, so I hope everybody is listening.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we are going to discuss the next topic. As per the syllabus, so you can see the first topic is just block diagram, and second topic we are going to discuss about the pin diagram of Atmega 2560 microcontroller. So here, so just like 8051 microcontroller, so it has pins around 100. Okay, whereas in 8051 we have only 40 pins. Since we have seen the more number of ports available in Atmega 2560 microcontroller, so they have come across around 100 pins. Okay, we have 100 pins and very low cost IC and also the board, so which is available in the market, and lot of product developments or projects are implemented by using Arduino boards. Okay, not specifically Atmega. We can see many projects can be developed by Arduino boards. The advantage I told, there are many inbuilt functions are there. You can directly access, and you have library functions you can directly access, which can be useful for the complicated applications. Because in 8051 we have discussed about the LCD interfacing and how to code each and every coding, that are all just low level. Low level in the sense each and every bit you must know, operations, everything you must know, which is happening inside the IC. Okay. But whereas by using Arduino type, so you no need to concentrate what is happening inside the hardware. So we will be working on only the software. We have a functions based on the function, taking the pin, enabling or disabling. So these are all the things we will be doing. Okay, just it is like application programming interface. Right. So we have 100 pins which are all pinned out to the corresponding. We have interconnection accordingly, and so we can access these particular pins for your applications. For example, we are taking this, since Atmega is connected to the Arduino board, we are taking that particular board and we are going to look into how many pins and how these pins are pinned out so that we can interface to the external applications, particularly external input or output devices. Right. So here you can see the pin starting from 1, everything. So you can see 1 is 1, 2, 3. 3 is for transmission pin. And we have number of ports starting from port A to port L, I think. Okay. Till L except I. So we have these many ports. You can see one by one. For example, port C. These are all port C, and we have port A. Okay, so let us discuss on what are all the ports. And you can see each and every pins are multifunction. You can see here. Okay, so this indicates it has a multifunction. That is, that particular pin can act as a general input output and also the function of this. What is the function? Interrupt level. So external interrupt, if you give external, if you the particular pin is configured as interrupt pin, then if there is any signal, external signal occur on the particular pin, which is interrupt to the controller. If it is an interrupt, then a controller has to respond it first. Okay, then only it will execute the common program, which is already existing. Okay, if there is an interrupt, stop the process, whatever it does. So like this, we have number of pins. We will discuss what are all the ports one by one. Okay. So we have seen the port A to port L, we have till L, okay. So I just put what are the rest of the ports also. So port A, so basically it is a 8-bit bidirectional input output port, okay. And if you see all the ports in general, these ports can act as a general input output ports. What is the advantage of general input output? You can control some LEDs based on the switch. You can get the switch information. So by using these particular, you can send the data to the LCDs, output devices, 11 segment devices, okay, some output devices. So in general, so this is one operation. Okay, this is one operation. Coming to the, we will discuss each and every ports, okay, and its alternative functions. What is the alternative functions? Okay. So generally we discussed all the ports can act as a general input output ports. This is general. Okay. General input output ports. This is one function of the particular port pins. Okay. And the alternative function means either it can act as this mode, okay, or the particular port A can act as a this mode. So which means that in the particular port pin, you can access some external memory. Okay, through external memory, you can receive a data, send a data, same thing can be uptime. So through this particular pin as an alternative function, you can provide the address of external memory location. Okay, address means a particular locations. So we have discussed about any the instruction like move x at dptr comma a, so like that, right? So if that is the instruction executed by the controller, then probably the address will be put on these particular lines so that this address will pinpoint to the one of the location of your external memory. Okay. Okay. The port A pin, port A is in first point. You must know that. So these ports will act as a general input output, and alternative functions. This particular ports acts as a the address lines for the external memory. Okay. And not only that, so you can send the data at the second of cycle, you can send the data on the same line. And port B, so another important port, you can see the port pins PB0 to PB3, which is more specific for SPI, serial peripheral interface communication. So you want to send a serial data through this interface or through this protocol, that is SPI protocol. Through this particular pin, you can send the data. So nothing but anyhow, you are going to send the data serially from one device to another device, from controller to some other controller or some other devices. So the other devices should have the compatibility of SPI interfacing. Only SPI can communicate. Okay, this is the point I would like to say. And apart from this, we have some the port B. We have 4 more pins which act as an alternative function as interrupt pin. Okay, the interrupt pins. Okay. So and also see another alternative function like interrupt, and also the same particular pin you can use it as PWM output. Okay, that is output compare and PWM output for timer, which means that so while programming only you can understand that like you will be having predefined data. When the timer reaches that value, this PWM output will be disabled or enabled. like that. If it is matches, it will be enabled. It will then you will be running the timer for the long. Once again, it will matches, it will disable. So in this way, it will generate a pulse width modulation. So this particular pin will act as a alternative function as PWM and also the interrupt. Any one only it can act at a time. It can act any one only. This is all about how you are going to program. How you are going to program this particular pin. So that particular pin can act either as PWM output, or it can act as an interrupt, or it can act as a general input output. Okay. So in Atmega 2560 microcontroller, since you can see this many pins are multifunctions. Okay. And this is what I would like to say. And we have port C. Similar way, we can by using since external memory in 2560 controller, we have the address line starting from A0 to A15. So totally we have 16 pins. So 2 to the power of 16 equal to 64K. So 64 kilobytes of location can be interfaced. That is, externally, you can interface the size of the memory. That is data memory or program memory, whatever may be. You can interface this much size to your Atmega, more specifically 2560 microcontroller. Okay, so from the address A8 to A15, that is higher byte of the address, can be sent by through port C. Okay, so in order your 2560 microcontroller want to generate 16-bit address, through these particular lines, you can obtain a 16-bit address. Here we have 8-bit. Previously in port A, we have discussed there is another 8-bit. So totally 16-bit. So which will point to some external memory location. Okay, this is all about the port C. So port C has a multifunction. Okay. So port D, we will discuss. So importantly, we have port D, already we have seen this terminal timer 0 and timer 1. So any external count operation, any events occur on the controller, that is 2560 controller, then in order you want to measure some frequency, or in order to measure how many signal has been raised and dropped, so any events, okay, external events, okay, this is what we say as external events. So these events you can count it. Okay, so by using this particular pins, right? And we have this 4 pins for interrupt 0 to interrupt 3, and also it has some multifunctions like serial communication. Okay, serially some data you can send it outside, transmitting. This is receiving. All about it is going to be how you are going to program the particular pin. And we have SCL and DA, which is nothing but I2C, serial communication. Okay, this is another type of serial communication, just like SPI and UART. So UART already we have seen an 8051 microcontroller serial communication. The similar way, this is another type of a serial communication which has certain prototype, certain rules to transfer a data. Okay. The people who are really strong in embedded, these and all very simple thing for them. As a starter, you must go through the concepts of I2C at least many times, only then you can write the code for I2C and all. So in industry, if you write the code for SPI, I2C and all, you can easily get placed. Step-by-step programming is there. So for that, you have to work on some low-level programming. That is, if you want to take some different microcontroller like PIC, ARM and all, so you can work on this special communication protocol, how to send a data by using SPI to some other device. Okay. Because even in the many automobile industries recently, they are using this kind of communication protocol for sending a data. If any accident occur, suddenly data will be transmitted to the cloud or whatever may be through via these particular serial communications. Fine. So I don't want to elaborate many things. A bit on. Coming to, and then we have port key, and you can see the interrupt pins starting from 4 to 7. And the pin you can configure as a PWM output. Okay, and also the timer pin, you can use it as a timer pin. And here coming the four pins. Here it can act as an analog pins, and this is another serial communication, a simple data output, and the same pin you can use it for serial transmission and reception. This is UART 0. So already we discussed UARTs. 4 UARTs are there. So the 4 UARTs will be distributed across the pins that you have to check out where and all it is there. And this is coming, the port F is all about ADC. You can interface some sensor here, and you can extract the sensor signal, and based on the algorithm, you can get the data of particular sensor, analog sensors. And then port G, we have around 6 pins. And what is here the read and write, which where you can going to read the data from the external memory and write the data to the external memory, read the data from the external memory. This is address latch. You can enable the external memory. Everything we have to control these particular port pins. This is simple oscillator pins for RTC. If there is a RTC oscillator inside, so you can connect through these pins what is the exact oscillator required for RTC. So same PWM output and for time. And so port H pin. So here once again we have UART2 for serial data transmission, and for this is external clock where you can provide external clock for serial, this for UART communication combinedly, and this is for PWM output you can generate, and this is going to be timer. This is for interrupt, and this is also the interrupt plus the serial communication, transmission, transmit and receive the UART 3. And the ADC, we have around 16 ADC. So you can use that so that you can interface 16 sensors, analog sensors with your controller. And we have number of interrupt pins. Okay. And PWM outputs, the timers, same. That's it. So, so that's why this type of controller is most widely used, since it has more advantages when compared with low level of controllers like 8051 when compared with 8051. So these type of controllers have more advantages because it has more number of pins, more number of peripherals. So using these more number of peripherals, you can connect n number of devices. For example, you can see around 16 ADZ pins are there. You can interface 16 sensors. Okay, for where the applications is required, many sensors. So under such constraint, you can use the low price hardware for your applications. Okay, so all the peripherals are connected to the some of the port pins. So it depends on the application, you are going to access this particular pin. So it is a very complex task. So that's why Arduino has developed a complete hardware and in Arduino IDE also you can find out in example programs, all the inbuilt functions are there, all the library functions are there, which already they have implemented. Arduino company has developed that. So you are going to access that, you are going to write the application program. Only conditions you are going to write by using Arduino board, any type of Arduino board. Okay, that is that's why everybody is so that's why everybody is just selecting Arduino board because all the functions are there. Writing a code from low level, it's very difficult. Okay, because if you're writing a big applications, we're writing a low level programs like what we written from the unit 2 to 4. If you want to write for complex applications and integrate for 2, 3, 4 applications into a single IC, it's very complex. So that's why industry take at least 6 to 12 months to develop complete applications and come out with a complete product. Okay.